Hola, peace and blessings and a whole lot of love. I hope everyone is doing well that is viewing this video. This is just random conversation. I just feel like doing a video. Just came back from getting these checked. Mammogram. That mammogram shit ain't no joke. They gotta take your breast and put it through this slide. And then they put their feet on this thing, and the thing come down, and it smashes the breast like that. So if you like an A cup or a B cup, like my mom was explaining, because she wanted to have me scared, because she was like, it's really small, and she's like, they just kept trying to get the breast, and then it was having such difficulty. But the more tissue you got, the more breast tissue you got, they can get it in there, but they got to make sure all of it is on it. Then this thing come down and smashes the breast, and they go take an x-ray of it, come back, do this one, and then they do a different position. It's very uncomfortable. So I just had that done. So anyway, I was listening the other night. I had to turn this heat on. I just got the heat on in the house, but it's taking a little bit to warm up here. So I have to turn this heat on, the little heater on. So you're going to hear that little fan blowing in the back. But don't worry about it. Don't focus on that. Focus on me. But anyway, see, now I'm nothing but love and positive energy. But anyway, I was listening to this man. His last name is Samuel, but I don't remember the first name. And he is a coach and something else. A very sophisticated man. But anyway, he was interviewing young lady. I don't know how old she is. And he was asking these questions. And it was kind of interesting. Some women were getting offended at the question. And some was like understanding. The only people who understand is people that are working on themselves. If you're not working on yourself and haven't taken accountability, you won't get offended at the questions. So he asked her, how she had got married. She's a single parent now. She had got married at like 19 to a military man who was like 29 years old. And they got divorced. So the man was asking her, why did you get divorced? She said, well, because he cheated on me. And he was like, well, okay, he cheated on you and he had a baby with this woman. Okay, and so somebody had wrote, she don't know the power she had of being married to a military man, because they don't play that adultery stuff in the service. You going to be held accountable. So he was asking her, and you have how many children? She had one son. So he was asking her why the father didn't have custody of the son, but she could not give an answer. She could not give an answer. So he asked her, you think you're financially capable of providing for your child versus the father? And she said, yeah. So he asked her what kind of work you do. She said she worked as a receptionist, and she's a nail technician. He was like, and what kind of education you have? So she said she had an associate's degree, and he asked her, well, what kind of job can you get with your associate's degree? What kind of associate's degree do you have? She said it was in arts. So he asked her what type of work can she do with that degree, and she said she probably can do human resources or social work. So he asked her, how much money do those type of people make? And she said, well, not much. So he said, again, I asked you, how come the father doesn't have custody of your son? She couldn't give an answer. So he said, I'm going to tell you, for a check. And it was all about you, because if it was about your son, you would have sent your son to his father, who is capable of providing financially more than you can for your son. He asked her, do you think you can provide for your son financially? And she said, yeah. And she said, yeah, with the help of government assistance. With government assistance, and then you have no benefits. So he couldn't understand why the father didn't have custody. And he said, it's because of check, because you are able to support your child through child support, your little check, and the help from the government. So that was, so he was saying, okay, you got education and you got a job, but you're living from paycheck to paycheck. But your ex-husband has benefits and he's making more money than you. And then besides, a boy needs his father, because as women, you can do the best as you can to raise your son, but he needs his father, because there's some things that a son's supposed to learn from his father, which a woman can't do. And he went on to say, single mothers are raising drug dealers, killers, high school dropouts, fuckboys, coons, simps. He said this is what the majority of single mothers are raising. Not all, but the majority of them. You have these children, you decide to have these children with someone. Okay, in this case, this woman was married. And he's saying these are the consequences. You're struggling to provide for your child. But if you loved your child like you say you do and really thought about his well-being, you would have sent the child to the father who is able to provide for that child mentally. And plus, the little boy needs to learn things from a man that he cannot learn from a woman. So he felt, and then he said, so where you live at? She moved out of the state in which they was living. So she's like 4 hours away from the father. And then he goes and says, and then you take the child away from his father. Then he asks about the custody arrangement and visitation rights. Well, the son sees his father on the holidays and the summer. So he went and said, so the majority of the time, your son is with you. And he spoke to the audience. You want your daughters to marry her son when he grows older? That's what you want your daughters to marry her son when he gets older. So, some people in the chat were saying he's being harsh. No, he's not being harsh. He's speaking the truth. And I'm a woman myself. And I'm a mother. And I was a single parent. And I also was married. Not one time, but 2 times. And if anybody watched my channel, my videos will know that I talked about both husbands, how I ended up a single parent, not by choice. Not by choice. And I'm not going to discuss that. But if you want, you can go look down the line when I talked about both husbands in one of my videos. Being a single parent is no joke. And I had always wanted to have my children by one man, but unfortunately that did not happen. But anyway, back to the story. So he's saying, you married a military man, you divorced him without fully thinking the consequences of raising that child by yourself. Then you let your family convince you what you should do. When you was a grown woman, you should have been able to make the right choices. Then your son is you have full custody, and the father lives he lived 4 hours away from you. Don't you think it would have been better if you would have stayed in the same state? This way you can get the proper help in raising that boy. But she began to look at things a little different after he started pointing out things to her. And she called into the show, so that means she want help. But you have some women in that chat box saying, so the husband is not held accountable. Okay, he cheated. He was like, okay, he cheated. That happens. But we're not talking about the cheating. We're talking about the decisions of the mother that she made, because she made off of her emotions and not for the benefit of her child. Because that's what we do. When a man hurts us, we make decisions based on our own emotions. We're not even thinking about to the child until afterwards. Now, if the man is abusing your child in any way or not doing what he's supposed to do at the father, then I can see. But if you have a good dad that's there for this child mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially, why take that child away from that father? Then he went on to talk about women choose motherhood over being a wife first. A lot of women are not raised to be a wife. They're raised to have children out of wedlock. And these are facts. He went on to say that women can't raise single boys. That's why they create, and I've learned this myself as an educator, that they decide to make a new jail based on the reading statistics of boys from 4th grade. So if the majority of the boys, black boys, fail the reading test and reading below average, they will decide to build a jail every few years based off black boys. And that's kind of sad. So he went on to say, yes, women out here are being raised to be mothers instead of wives, having children without having a husband. Then he went on to say, which is another fact, that women will have a baby by a man who already have kids. Why would a woman do that? Why? Why would a woman want to have a baby or babies by a man who already have kids? Not that he already have kids. He also not making enough to even provide for the kids he already have, and then you go have kids. And guess what? All of y'all put this man on child support. So he said the suggestion to this is for the men who got multiple baby mamas, choose one to be with, and then the other ones become sister wives. Because y'all already in polygamy anyway, because half of these baby daddies are still, excuse my language, fucking a baby mama while he with a new woman anyway. Now let me tell you a little story. Personal story was that my husband, my ex, or not even my ex, because we're still legally married, because he refused to sign the divorce paper. And just a week ago, he was talking to my daughter. My daughter put him on speaker. He was asking her, demanding that she wake me up because he wants to speak to his wife. So my daughter was like, my mom sleep. He demanded her to go wake me up, but my daughter still took around and said, I'm not going upstairs to wake up my mother who don't even want to speak to you. So the whole time he talking to her, he kept reference to me, his wife, his wife, his wife. So we're not legally divorced. I did do the petition back in, what was it, 2015, 5 years later. We're still legally married because he refused to sign the paper. I did a self-help divorce, which was cheap. I spent about $1,000. This man did not sign. So then I did not know what to do after that. Then I looked it up. It's like, this is a lot of work once they don't sign. It's just a lot of paperwork. So I decided to go try to retain a lawyer, and then they wanted $3,000. I said, well, no. I don't have $3,000. I'm not saving up $3,000. And then she was like, okay, that's just to retain her. Then every time she got to go file a court paperwork with the court, that's another fee. I was like, oh, well, I guess I'll be legally married until one of us die because I'm not paying for it. If he's not going to sign, I'm not going to even stress myself out. And I already decided being married does not mean that a man loves you. So I'm not even interested in being married. No man. What I'm interested in is a healthy partnership. We don't have to live together. We got to be on the same page. Marriage does not always benefit you in a positive way if you marry the wrong person. And then sometimes things happen when people outgrow each other. So it's unrealistic to expect people to be together for the rest of their lives. That's my take on it. I don't care what your take is, but that's my take on that. I don't want to get married, so it doesn't bother. It was bothering me because that was giving him some power. But I'm like, I'm out here living my life. I'm in a whole relationship, and I've been in a relationship for 3 years, and it don't seem like neither one of us is going nowhere. And it's a good relationship. He actually treated me better than that man that I was married to did. So anyway, so I ended up a single parent. First time because of domestic violence. Had to protect myself and my kids. Had to leave. Second time was through infidelity. But when I left him, it was not like he had money to take care of our daughter. It's not like he was taking care of our daughter because he was too busy chasing Coochie Cat. And had another child that he couldn't even afford to take care of the man on damn child support. And guess what? 3 children by 3 different women. Perfect example. I didn't want to get pregnant. But something happened, we were drinking, went out. And that's the night I probably got pregnant because we were very careful. Because neither one of us wanted to have more kids. Like I said, I didn't want to have another child by another man. I had 3 kids by my first husband. And that's how I wanted to be, unfortunately. But, so we ended up getting married and that did not work out. So he cheated on me, right? So he had a daughter from his first relationship. a son for his first relationship. Then he have our daughter, and then he turned around and cheated, and then used protection. And while he was cheating, this man was coming back, going up in me raw, trying to get me pregnant, and got the side chick pregnant. And had it not been for the child, the side chick, I would never have found out, because this man was not trying to tell me that he made a baby. But even he did that, he still wanted to work it out with me. But I did not want to work it out with him, because I did not believe he was going to do the right thing. And he did not do the right thing, because 4 years later, I thought, okay, we still legally married. He's trying to enter my life. I'm going to give him a chance. Because you figure 4 years later, he's sorry for what he did. He's remorseful. He done learned his lessons. He done grew up and became the man he's supposed to be. No. Guess what? He was still hitting that. She found out that he came to visit me and sent me a message. Not once, but twice. Even after she saw that he was trying to get back with me, and how he spent the whole week out here playing the husband role. And you know we were sexual, because we were still legally married. She took him back. She slept with him and continued to allow him to be with her. And that's when I was like, I'm done. A man only going to do what you allow. Women want to get upset because a man cheated, but you keep taking him back and keep doing it, then it becomes your fault. The side chick want to get mad because he's trying to go back to the wife, but why would you want to sit with a man that's still married? Legally married. And when you found out that he was legally married, because she tried to say the marriage was fake and I had to produce papers, even when I produced the paperwork, she still did not want to believe that man is still married to me, or that we were even married in the first year. My daughter's 16. We've been legally married for 15 years. And she's still letting him hit it. She still letting him hit it, because found out that during the quarantine, he met someone. I can't say if he cheated on a side chick with the new woman. Probably did. Got the new woman. The new woman taking care of him. He telling her lies, talking about me to the new woman. You would think 8 years later, you still talking about your estranged wife to a new woman who don't even know who the hell she is. Never met her. The wife is way out the picture, and he felt it necessary to talk about me to her. And how I found out, because a woman looked me up to tell me that I was right for the stuff that I said in my videos about him cheating on me, and how he did it just to do it. And then she texted me, because I wouldn't understand why she was texting me. She just said, I just want to tell you, I just want a confirmation, of the stuff he was doing. Because come to find out, she was like, he choked her, but he never put his hands on me. He never put his hands on me. I think he thought, he never ever even attempted to raise his hand at me. Never got that mad. As a matter of fact, when there was conflict, he always shut down. He would leave. He would take a walk, go to his mother's. He didn't want to hear it. He couldn't deal with it. But with this woman, for some reason, he put his hand around her neck, so she said. And she was taking care of him because she believes his sob story. And come to find out, she was taking care of the side chick daughter, which the side chick don't know about. She was buying that little girl, because he have another daughter. He got a daughter with the side chick. She was buying clothes for her and everything. But the side chick don't know that her baby daddy was in a relationship with this woman where they was locked up. You know, when we was locked up for them 3 months in quarantine, he was locked up with her in a shelter, and before the quarantine, he was bringing the daughter around the new woman in his life. But the baby mama, who he's still sleeping with, don't know what he was doing, because she believes he loves her and respects her. That man don't give a damn about that woman. If he cared about her, don't you think he would have divorced me to marry that woman? He not trying. He told his daughter, he told our daughter, I already told your mama, And I told you, I only wanted to get married one time. So my daughter was saying to him, well, you don't have to get married again. If you divorce mommy and a woman want to get married, you just say no. He's like, nope, I'm not divorcing her. I'm not divorcing her. Where's my wife? Where's my wife? I'm not divorcing her. So what this man was, when this man was asking these questions and trying to get this woman, look, you play a part in this. And this woman said she wants to be a stay-at-home mother and housewife. So he began to ask her, what kind of skills you bringing to the table for this man that you want to marry? Are you a high value woman? And she said, yeah. She's saying how pretty she kept saying how pretty she was. And he was like, okay, what you? Pretty rich? He said, you pretty rich? But what else you got to bring to the table for a man to marry you and take care of you and some kids? And then he said, well, what type of man want to come in, and what type of high value man wants to come in and marry a woman and take care of somebody else's kid? She just started thinking about things. So then he asked her, well, you asked her where she lived at and said, okay, you want this high value man, which you have no skills to be a wife. But you want this high value man. You don't, and he kept asking her how much you think that this man that you want to marry needs to make in order to provide for him, you, and some children in this in the state she was living. So she couldn't. She came up with like $90,000. He said, "You don't even know how much the man needs to make in order to be able to take care of you, but you want a high value man." And I was on awe. I was like, "Oh wow, this is so deep." And I was like, I can relate to what this man is saying. A lot of women want a husband, but they're not raised to be wives because their mother probably was a single parent. And then some women go lay down with somebody else's man and have a baby, but yet want somebody to marry her. But you see with other people, men, and then have the audacity to have his babies. Women need healing, so do men. But women are not being raised. I wasn't even raised to be a wife. I know how to cook. I know how to clean. My mother always taught us independence. Now, my mother and my father was married, but they got divorced when I was like 6. And my father didn't stick around to teach me and my sister things we need to know to pick the right man to marry. He did not financially support us or show us how a man's supposed to treat us by treating our mother with respect and then value dating us and being an active part in our life. Because when I got with my first husband, the only thing I looked at, he got money. He got some money and he can financially take care of me. I never thought about the mental, the emotional aspect of it. Or I didn't think about, a boy needs a good male rod. Girls and boys need good male role models to be in his life. I didn't know that it's a daughter first love is her father, that she needs to learn how to be treated by a man by her father. I didn't know none of those things when I got married and had kids. I wasn't taught that. You know when I learned that? When I got in my 40s, when I started this spiritual journey. So what I did in my marriages was like, I did what I was supposed to do to take care of my husband sexually. I cooked. I cleaned. I took care of the household. I took care of my children. I worked. And what did I get? I didn't get a leader. I made most of the decisions in both marriages. My husband came from a 2-parent household, but it was some dysfunction. My second husband, mother was a single parent, and she had 7 kids or 8. 8 kids, I think. 5 girls. 5 girls and 3 boys. 8 kids. And my second husband, Don't have many nice things to say about his mother, because he complained a lot about his mother. And that right there should have been a red flag. He complained a lot about his mother and his older sister. So this second man, the first man is not a man that sleeps around. He doesn't do that. He never was that type of man. I give that to him. My second husband cheated on me when his son was only 3 months. No, he got with me when his son was 3 months. And then I was 37 years old. I didn't even think about, why is this man starting a new relationship when his son is a newborn? Even though he used to go get his son and bring his son around me and stuff, but still, shouldn't he have been trying to build a relationship with that child's mother? No, he's in a relationship with me, and they have a 3-month-old. But my immature, lack of knowledge self did not look at that back at that time. Did not go on to have a child by him and marry him, even though there was things that I knew. Don't red flags, but I married him anyway. So I didn't know crap. I didn't know crap. I didn't know how important it was to have a two-parent family household when you got kids. I didn't know that it's important for little girls to have a positive role model. I learned all that after 2 failed marriages. But my 16-year-old, I wish she was here right now, can sit down and talk to some grown women who that's out there having babies by somebody's husband. She knew that was wrong when she was like 6 or 7. She knew that was wrong. You don't do that. She learned that when she was like 6 or 7. And then had her dad go cheat and expose her to that crap. And now he's trying to build a relationship with, for the last year with her. But I'm thankful. Like I said, I've learned some things. And now I have instilled a lot in my younger daughter versus the lack that I didn't instill in my older daughter. So my 16-year-old don't have a boyfriend. She's not interested in having a boyfriend. She is scared of sex because she don't want to catch nothing or get pregnant by the wrong person. And besides, her dad, or what she learned from her dad, that you don't be married and sleep around on your wife. And not only that you sleep around your wife, you had a baby. And then you try to deny the baby. So I can say that I have seen girls, 16 years old, pregnant, sneaking out the house, dressing provocative, all because they looking for love that they didn't get from their parents. Probably, mostly, the father. So I'm thankful for my sons, 31 and 26. For being that positive role model for my daughter, their sister. My daughter, my youngest daughter got 3 brothers. Her brother by her, from her father, and my 2. And I'm thank God she has them. Cause even her brother, her brother who is 17, told her she don't need a boyfriend. Okay, and I'm thankful for them. But when I started the spiritual journey, I was like, I'm gonna learn the things that I didn't learn that were correct when it comes to having children. Because I made some bad choices. Not being there for my daughter when she was going through things that I had no clue when her dad went to jail. I'm talking about my oldest daughter. Their father went to jail for a domestic violence incident concerning me. But yes, that man I had to subscribe to his channel. The high value woman, he said high value, I'm going to say high vibrational woman who lacks confidence and self-esteem is not going to let no man come into her life and play her. She's not going to be the type of man that's going to sleep with somebody's husband. She's not the type of man that's going to have a baby by a man before she's in a committed relationship. And in this case, it would be marriage. A woman who loves herself and respects herself is not going to allow that stuff to happen. And there's so many women that I know personally, just about all the women I know personally, except for maybe one, that never was married or have children by multiple men and are a single parent living from paycheck to paycheck. And some of these women got those dads on child support. Oh, that's another thing I want to talk about. Now, my ex-strange husband has 3 children by 3 different women. The first 2 women never had that man on child support. We did what we did what we were supposed to do for our children. Provide for them the best way we can by working, by going back to school, so we can get a higher paying job. So he never was on child support. And I had a right to do it because I'm the wife. And I at first, when I separate from him, saying, okay, he's going to help take care of his child financially because he wasn't doing it on his own. So when I went to court, he never came out here for a court hearing. Sent his pay stub, and guess what I was told? That I'm not eligible for child support because the non-custodial parent have to be able to provide for himself. He was making no more than a little over $500 a month. So the court officer called him on the phone because they needed that other pay stub. So the court officer asked him, do you have any other kids? And he was like, yeah, he have a son. He never said he had that daughter. That man did not bring up that baby he had while he was married to me. He said, yeah, I have a son. He said, are you providing for your son? He said, yes. So he got off the phone, and he said, well, it looks like he doesn't make much for us to be able to order a child support order, but I'm going to send you to the mastery judge. So the mastery judge, I went to see a mastery judge, and she was like, well, he's not showing up for the court appearances, and I can't make him because we don't have jurisdiction over him because he lives in another state. She said, and it looks like he doesn't make enough money to be given a court order because he has to be able to provide for himself. So I said, you know what? She said, you can what you could do to get a court to be able to get him to support is do an interstate, which means I would have to file paperwork from Philly with